Which camera am I looking at? I'm assuming you're not recording this yet. Center. Okay. Center left or just center? Okay. Sir Rodney Williams, Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda. Professor R. Clive Landis, Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of the West Indies, the Cave Hill campus. Professor Winston Moore, Deputy Principal of the UWI Cave Hill campus. Dr. Damien Cohall, Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, UE Cave Hill campus. Mr. Anthony Harris, Director of Medical Services, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Dr. Mike Campbell, Deputy Dean Research and Graduate Studies, again joining us online. Dr. Paula Michelle Lashley, Head of Department of Clinical Sciences, Faculty of Medical Sciences, the UWI Cave Hill campus. Ms. Akila Thomas, who I think is represented by Mr. Joshua Grant Desire, President and Vice President Clinical of the Medical Student Association of the FMS, graduates of the MBBS program of this faculty, members and staff of the faculty, members of the university community, including the online audience, family and friends joining us from at home with champagne in your glasses. Specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Kenneth Connell, and I am the Deputy Dean of Recruitment and Outreach in the Faculty of Medical Sciences. I'm also a public orator with the University of the West Indies, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to this hybrid event. Many of you joining us virtually on YouTube. Welcome to our campus by the sea. We are coming to you live in the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, the auditorium, a partnership that has surpassed decades between the university and the Ministry of Health and Wellness, where many of our medical students and residents in training complete their clinical years here at the hospital. This year, the hospital is celebrating its 60th anniversary, and we celebrate with them. We are here to mark the continuation of a rich tradition, the oath-taking ceremony with the Hippocratic Oath. The Hippocratic Oath is first started in 400 BC. That's before Christ and not before COVID. And started in ancient Greece, where doctors were in the community, not in a nice air-conditioned auditorium as we are in here, and announced to the public. This was important so that people in the community knew who the new doctors were and heard them take the oath. Did you know that there have been many changes to this oath, including the current version used by the UWI and our 3 faculties and 1 school of medical sciences? In one country, historically, in India, there are also some ethical or somewhat unethical exemptions. For instance, doctors could only treat patients who were approved by the king. Translate that into our current system, and that might be problematic in many countries. The Hippocratic Oath has been criticized as seen as not staying up to date with modern ethics. If you are like me, 24 years ago when I was in this auditorium, taking a similar oath, you might be a bit skeptical as to what you're saying and what you're pledging on to. Suffice to say, first, do no harm, which is easy, except some people may not know when harm is being done, and under what circumstances. The most recent kind of mantra that I read, which I thought was interesting, is, which is quite modern in 2024, first follow the law and be rational thinkers. I think if you kind of encapsulate that, which I think is reflected in our own oath, you will be safe on the ward. Let me be the first to congratulate you on this journey. I know there have been many, many, many ups and downs, and you have survived them all. I want to guarantee you that the road ahead of you will have far more challenges that will be a lot more exciting. Your 10 p.m. call will be translated suddenly to a 24-hour call, and you will get to see how well your physiology functions having been sleep deprived for several hours. I trust that your generation of doctors will also change the climate in our medical fraternity, and that you will lobby for just, such as on behalf of your patients, but also on behalf of your own selves as you negotiate your own working hours. I now hand the podium over to Dr. Damien Cohall, Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, to deliver the welcome address.
It's always easy to bat after the opening batsman, having set the ground and the pitch right for runs to be had. But I can't start without recognizing the presence of the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda, Sir Rodney Williams, and I'm going to go with the abbreviated protocol list. But of course, highlighting the ever eloquent and just person at managing the ceremonial protocol, that being our Master of Ceremony, Dr. Kenneth Connell, also a Deputy Dean in the faculty. Our Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor of the Cave Hill campus, Professor Clive Landis, and Deputy Principal, Professor Winston Moore. So class 2K in 2024, you note that you have the highest level of senior management of the university here to observe this momentous occasion. Our DMS, Director of Medical Services, Mr. Anthony Harris, Dr. Clyde Cave, who some of you will indirectly interact with in a week's time, but also chair of the intern selection committee, among wearing other hats, was also here with us in person. Distinguished speakers who I have not mentioned, other persons apart from the Governor General joining online with us this morning, other members of the campus community, special invited guests, and I would like to specially identify the presence of our student governing body and their representatives. Unfortunately, the president couldn't be here with us this morning, but she will be represented quite ably so by the vice president of that student association. And as I mentioned, the VP, I note his presence at the back of the room. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this year's oath-taking ceremony. It gives me great pleasure to provide these welcoming remarks on the resumption of the faculty's old age tradition of the oath-taking ceremony. As I mentioned to the head of department a few weeks ago, that I will not let another opportunity pass without recognizing our graduates from the MBBS program in the way in which they are expected to be recognized. In fact, not only them, but other members of the society who have trained long before you. And as the MC provided you earlier, the age-old history of the oath-taking ceremony. This year's ceremony is historic as we witness the acceptance of a new cohort of medical graduates who recently attempted the inaugural unified MBBS exam into the medical profession, and that is important. Graduates, it is also an occasion for you to reflect on your 5 years in the medical degree program. Now, while the MC was quite good at allowing you to reflect on your journey to date, I want you to know that beyond this point, the internship experience awaits you. And as you should know by now, the internship is an authentic professional experience for medical graduates. You are provisionally registered by the medical councils in CAMC recognized territories on completion, successful completion of the final MBBS exams. But it's really the internship experience that will allow you to become eligible for full registration from the medical councils in CAMC recognized regions to practice your medicine independently. The medical degree program at the UWI has maintained its quality over the years. And I'm going back as far as from the time the program was accredited by the General Medical Council. In fact, we know that the University of the West Indies started as a satellite campus of the University of London, so we were covered by the General Medical Council. Post 2001, with the development of the Caribbean Accreditation Authority for Education in Medicine and Other Professions, we were accredited 2006 onwards, and we have maintained our accredited status since. The CAM-HP, in their letter dated July 20, 23, outlined that the medical program of the UA had received accreditation for the period of 2023-2028. That is the highest, fullest accreditation that any program accredited by the CAM-HP could ever bestow upon a medical school. And you graduates are coming from a fully accredited institution, which makes it very easy for you to navigate your further educational aspirations and also professional aspirations going forward. Note also that when CAM visited and audited our programs right across the campuses in 2022-2023, that even CAM themselves were being accredited by the World Federation of Medical Education and also received full accreditation. So almost a double accreditation. So it means that the FMS at the UWI, especially here at K-Ville, where we have always prided ourselves on quality, was externally reviewed twice because both the World Federation of Medical Education and the CAM-HP reviewers were here in Barbados. They toured the hospital, they toured K-Ville, they toured the clinical skills building, and the final result was full accreditation at its maximum. So now, graduates, it's really up to you to take the stage to demonstrate your medical knowledge, your skills, your professionalism in this professional setting and other professional settings where you may apply your trade as an intern or a medical profession going forward. However, I must note that accreditation is a dynamic process and should maintain opportunities for us in the faculty, opportunities for self-appraisal to ensure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And this is an ongoing discussion that I have with the staff all the time in both departments of the faculty. And we'll be continuing to have those discussions going forward, and we'll also be liaising with our primary stakeholders, the hospital, the ministry, and other important players who assist in the delivery of our final education product. And I know, graduates, you will hear, and probably some of you may have heard before you took your unified exit exam, that the quality sometimes is questionable. Accreditation is symbolic of the quality that we have within our medical program. I am not sure if there are any other schools, and I'm saying I'm not sure, right, because there could be. But just let's say that based on my knowledge, and it might be slightly ignorant knowledge, that I'm not sure any other medical institution in Barbados, tertiary medical training institution in Barbados, has the level of accreditation that we have. Right? So we must take time for self-reflection, self-appraisal to make sure that we keep our systems well-oiled and functioning. And a part of that process is ensuring that you as graduates perform as interns and also as medical professionals, because your performance and the evaluation of your performance is also a testament of the quality of the program that we offer in the Faculty of Medical Sciences. So we must work collaboratively to ensure that the quality of the degree output remains high and doesn't undermine the trust and high professional standards expected of a UWI medical graduate. Graduate, remember that it is your love for the profession that has gotten you this far. There were a lot of sleepless nights. 5 years of training is a long time. As the old adage by Hippocratic states, wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is also love for humanity. So as you take the Hippocratic Oath, I want you to reflect on the words within the Hippocratic Oath. Recall that patient care is priority and should be the central basis for practicing medicine. At all times, you should be guided by empathy and medical ethics in your decision-making at all levels, even as you progress throughout graduate training. Your clinical knowledge and skills will improve with your desire to be active, independent, and lifelong learners, as you're expected to be in this profession. Your pursuit for annual registration by the Medical Council will be a testament of your ability to demonstrate that you're active, independent, lifelong learners. So in closing, everyone, colleagues joining online and colleagues here in person, remember that this journey is no different than life's journey so far. There will be challenges along the path of success, but accept these as important milestones of maturity and growth. Graduates, all the best with your future endeavors, and don't forget the FMS.
Thank you, Dean Cohall. So I really want to try to keep the hybrid audience engaged, and I promised them online that I will at least share their shout-outs to help embarrass some of the graduates in the audience. So a big shout-out to Dr. Waterman. Dr. Waterman, you're here. Now you don't want to admit who you are. And I also have a shout-out from Sharon Harding to all the graduates of the class of 2024. All of you, congratulations. I remember my first day of internship like it was yesterday, although it was 24 years ago. I left home quite eager to get here on time. And we didn't have mobile phones then, but we had these annoying devices called pagers. And the whole thing about becoming an intern was choosing the coolest pager. I know that sounds boring. I remember I got my pager from a place not too far from the hospital, Preferred Paging, and I even kind of toyed around just before the internship started, selecting the perfect paging tone so that it sounded cool. Now, of course, you do videos on TikTok. So the first page went off, and I thought, wow, someone wants me to do something and thinks that I'm a real doctor. So I responded. I was in the surgery clinic. I wanted to start with an easier rotation. And I was in the surgery clinic, and the pager went off, saying that there's an emergency on the surgery ward. And I thought, well, why are you telling me this? I'm in surgery clinic. And the nurse said, but you have to respond. I'm like, but I'm here. And it was at that point I recognized that it doesn't matter where you are, you have to respond to emergencies, because I was the only intern working with the now Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Jerome Walcott. And then the pager went off again. Someone pulled the IV out, and then I recognized it kept going off all during the day. But I had no fear because night was approaching and all this paging would stop eventually. But it continued from diascans to patient blood pressure too high, and I wondered to myself, I'm going on record as saying this, why are you checking the blood pressure at this time anyway? Anyway, but I had to respond. I kept going. And it was at that point where I said to my co-intern in medicine, who actually looked quite comfortable on call, this is it for me. You can continue with this nonsense. Medicine is not easy. Many of you at the 2 a.m. will remember the Hippocratic Oath as you are flustered with angry nurses or angry colleagues, as you are flustered with relatives who you think are expecting the impossible, as you're upset with annoying consultants outside of internal medicine. And you will find that the oath will keep you motivated. There are many times in my career where I have considered giving up clinical medicine. One of these times occurred quite recently, and a member in this audience knows this. Clinical medicine still excites me the same way it did 24 years ago. I still am as impressed with the clinical signs on the ward. I look forward to being on service. I'm saying this in front of the dean. I look forward to being in the emergency room and seeing the emergencies. But the exciting part for me has always been seeing you in the clinical environment and seeing how you develop your skills, which were so eloquently displayed in the Unified OSCE exam. The MSA has played a substantial role in the faculty, from teddy bear clinics to silent protests on campus against major public health issues like front of package warning labels, as well as screening blood pressure 120 at T20 for Cricket World Cup. I'll now invite the Vice President Clinical of the Medical Student Association, Mr., I almost said doctor, but soon to be Dr. Joshua Grant Desir.
Thank you so much. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Eleanor D. Roosevelt. Dr. Kenneth Connell, Deputy Dean, Recruitment and Outreach, Faculty of Medical Sciences, University of the West Indies, Cave Hill Campus. Professor R. Clive Landis, Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal, the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill Campus. Professor Winston Moore, Deputy Principal, University of the West Indies, Cave Hill Campus. Dr. Damien Cohall, Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill Campus. Mr. Anthony Harris, Director of Medical Services, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Dr. Paula Lashley, Head Department of Clinical Sciences, Faculty of Medical Sciences, University of the West Indies, Cave Hill Campus. Graduates of the MBBS program, Faculty of Medical Sciences, the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill Campus. Members of the faculty and staff of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill Campus. Members of the university community, specially invited guests, members of the online audience, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good morning. Ward rounds was a bit long this morning. It is both a privilege and a profound honor to stand before you today as the Vice President, Clinical Sciences, and the head of the Clinical Sciences Department of the Medical Students Association here at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill Campus. As we gather here to witness and celebrate a significant milestone in the lives of our new doctors, this moment marks the culmination of years of their dedication, your dedication, hard work, and unwavering commitment to your education and journey that has led you to know what is sort of a culmination in the noble profession that medicine is. I began my speech with a quote by Eleanor D. Roosevelt: "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." Today, as you stand on the precipice of your medical careers, remember that this moment is a testament to the beauty of your dreams. You have all believed in those dreams, and through your perseverance and hard work, you have brought them to fruition. Reflecting on my personal journey that brought me here, I can't help but recall a few months ago when I existed as a third-year medical student, following some of you around on the wards, seeing what my 5th years would teach me. Now, months later, I'll soon be following more of you around to see what the interns will teach me. Although I've personally not had the opportunity to interact with every single one of you, I always tell my friends I had the best 5th years on internal medicine, the best 5th years on surgery, the best fifth years on PEDS. And your work as a class has extended beyond your personal achievements, but in most instances, you have been med siblings to juniors. My med sibling is in the audience. Big up you, Reese. Just personal achievements, you have also gone active in your community outreach and been unwavering in your commitment to studies and academic excellence. You've charted the path for those after you to follow. So as we join and celebrate this momentous occasion, I extend heartfelt congratulations to every single one of you on behalf of the Medical Students Association. As you recite the oath today, know that it is more than just a mere formality, but a solemn promise and a commitment to the principles that define the noble profession of medicine. Let compassion, integrity, and relentless perseverance be your drive to improve healthcare for all. Let these words guide your decisions, shape your interactions, and inspire your dedication to the well-being of patients. From rotating through my junior clerkships, and now, even in fourth year, on my fourth rotation, I know that you will undoubtedly face challenges in the months ahead. Times when the weight of responsibilities will feel overwhelming, and in those times, I encourage you to remember the beauty of your dreams. The path ahead will not always be smooth, but it is in those moments of adversity that your true strength and character will shine. Embrace the challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. The world of medicine is ever evolving, and as you doctors, you are the torchbearers of progress, innovation. And so I encourage you to stay curious, stay humble, and remain committed to lifelong learning. So today, as you just say your oath and you join a community of professionals who have dedicated their lives to serving humanity, and in the face of global health challenges from pandemics to chronic diseases, your skills and compassion are needed more than ever, but your encouraged well-being must also be secured. I encourage each of you to also try to seek balance in your professional and personal lives. Medicine is a demanding field, and while your commitment to your patients is paramount, it is equally important as you journey off to take care of yourselves. I'm hoping that between now and internship, you all go on some vacations, get those massages, get in the vacations, and have some fun. Nurture your well-being, cultivate your passions outside of medicine, and cherish the relationships that sustain you. As I leave you, I urge you to carry the values you hold dear into every aspect of your professional lives. Let compassion be the cornerstone of your medical practice. Let integrity guide your actions, and let the oath you take today be a constant reminder of the profound impact you have on the lives of those you will serve. As doctors, you have the power to influence public health, advocate for vulnerable communities, and contribute to the well-being of entire populations. Your roles extend beyond the walls of this hospital and clinic, probably will extend beyond the walls and confines of this country or even region. And you can use your voice to champion causes that matter to your heart, to fight for things that you believe in, and to ensure that individuals get quality healthcare. As you don your new titles, escape from the dress code that is Dr. Connell's ward rounds, and step into the future, know that your accomplishments are etched in history, and that the MSA celebrates each and every one of you. May today be the beginning of your journey of success, enrichment, and lifelong service. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Grant Desire. And I trust that you will be professional on my ward rounds. I'm confident that you will be. So more shout-outs to the graduates, and I get to kind of edit these so that they're mostly embarrassing. And I understand that a skit was done here in this auditorium a few weeks ago. So you know what they say about payback. All right, so Elan Herwood says shout out to Taryn. Elan, you are also here, so I'm not sure where you're shouting out. But congrats, Dr. Holdit. Paging Dr. Waterman from Kwama Albocas. Congrats to Dr. Anna Springer. Tremendously proud of you from Gregory Bent. And I hope that I was allowed to call that name. Ms. Brown says, congrats, guys. Sonja Bowen says, congratulations to Dr. Shanice Bowen. So proud of you. Shanice, you're here? Dr. Bowen? Yeah, you're here. Congratulations to Dr. Herwood. Some of you are shouting out each other during the actual oath-taking. Congratulations to you all. So we are going to continue with the remarks. The next one delivered by the Director of Medical Services, Mr. Anthony Harris. Before he approaches the podium, let me just say some interesting things happen on call. I'll just share one story with you, and I know that this is being viewed by a PG-13 audience. So, you know, on call, you usually get quite hungry, especially if it's been a tough call. So we ordered what I thought at the time, and let me just say what I thought at the time was the healthiest option, the big bucket buffet from a fast food restaurant that will remain nameless. It was for the entire medical team, and it was kind of my contribution because we had a rough call, and I left it in the lounge, which I thought was a secure place for leaving food, forgetting that there were also surgeons on call. And as the medical team left to respond to its third emergency, we came back to the scent of digested chicken. But as one of my colleagues in surgery said to me, they left the fries. So surgeons are interesting people to do call with, and it's really an honor to invite Mr. Harris to the podium. He has been a mentor. He wasn't part of eating the chicken. He has been a mentor in my medical career, and I also want to publicly congratulate him on his recent award from the Caribbean Cardiac Society. Congratulations.
Well, can't see any of you. But you see how the surgeon figured it out. See? Now I can see all of you. Good morning. Dr. Rodney Williams, Governor General of Antigua. I guess that also is Sir Rodney Williams, Governor General of Antigua. I'm told that you are part of our online audience. Professor Landis, principal of the Clearfield campus. Geez, my memory's going. Winston Moore, I just met you this morning, deputy principal. Damien Cohalt, I call you Damien as opposed to doctor, because I believe we are that close and good friends, and certainly has been a joy working with your new dean, Dr. Kenneth Connell. Dr. Michelle Ashley, who is the postgraduate. I'm looking for what your title is, Michelle, but I don't see it. But suffice to say, head of department, but suffice to say that I have known you since we were in med school 1 year apart. Yeah, so that is all very good. Graduates, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, invited guests, members of the media. I don't see anyone else shout you out this morning, but shout out to the media. And ladies and gentlemen, today is an honor for me to be here to welcome the new graduates of the medical profession. You who are the future, who will carry on the traditions, and who will do so knowing that you are in a very privileged profession. I'm always taken back to the times that you read or you point out that the opinion of the medical profession is still valued in the country today. In these fast-changing times where nothing is held sacred, doctors still hold a privileged position, and I think you will be well served to remember that. We are here to do what we are told is an old tradition dating back 400 years. Hippocrates and those people who were not even real doctors, Kenneth, I think they just kind of made it up, but they were interested in caring for human beings and members of the society, among which was the poor and indigent. It was very easy to show the king great service and the aristocrats of the day, but really and truly, the oath is all really and true to kin about the poor and the indigent, that some special respect had to be paid to them. And so it's a serious ceremony. It's not just a old traditional thing, you know, like you have a party and you can celebrate. This is always done with some sobriety, and it is always done because we believe that that's how the medical profession should conduct their lives and their practice as they go forward. You have been educated in medicine. Now comes your training in medicine. You have read the books. You have seen it. Yes, you will continue to do that. But more importantly, you now take responsibility for the actual practice and care of medicine and the care of your patients. And sometimes that is not things that you will find in a book. That is going to be what comes from here. The respect and the attitude towards your patient is not going to be found necessarily in a textbook. They will tell you that you have to do it and you have to do this and stuff, but how you react to your patients is going to be the real art of medicine, how they can respect you in return for what you do for them and stuff like that. So do not ever let that slip from you. That's the true essence and the true integrity of the medical practice and the medical profession. You are truly privileged to be in this profession, and I think sometimes you just have to remember that. And we all tell you that. You just heard Dr. Connell says, you know, how tough it can be. That is true. But it will pass. No matter how tough the day is, it will pass, and you have other people around you that you can lean on to help you get through that day. So you can always give it your all. But more important, please, please enjoy your internship. Enjoy it, have fun. Don't see it as a burden. Be there to challenge Dr. Connell about his diagnoses politely. And with the enthusiasm that someone who is enjoying something will have. If you have that, if you can manage to get that done, you would get through the internship. I don't think you'll miss it because the residency gets even tougher. But I think it is important that you have fun doing it. Yes, you're going to want to go to the parties. We all did. And yes, you're going to want to have some sleep. You're going to want to have time off and things like that. That is true. You are going to want to do those things. But always remember to wake up every morning or night and be sure to face the day with some enthusiasm. All right? You will always have time. All you are 23 years old. I was checking around there and stuff. Kids, you can burn the candle at both ends. So, of course, you can squeeze in the party, you can have the fun, but just remember where your first obligation has to come. And sometimes you have to give it up. And as you go through your career, you're going to have to give up other things. You're going to have to give up time with your family as you do your various residency and fellowships and stuff like that. We all did. And so it can be done. It isn't an impossible thing to do. And I really think that if you do have a love for what you're doing, it gets that much easier. And it really does become not so tough to do. I am particularly heartened to see how well turned out you are. You're all distinguishedly dressed. This lady here, they all Very nice. So I think you're on the right path already. You have taken this ceremony seriously, and you obviously recognize the importance of it. Hippocrates and the guys back then were serious people, and they wanted to be sure that whatever you choose to do in life, you took it with a certain seriousness and a certain level of commitment that will carry you through and will be unquestioned. So I'm very proud to see you guys here. Unlike Kenneth, I cannot remember my first day of internship back in 1982. You hear how they went. That's not so long ago. And in fact, in our audience, I think there is a doctor up there who I think started 2 years prior. And so we were around here a long time. And I think, though, that you see the people who are truly successful in medicine are the ones who enjoy it the most. And I think if you do that, you too will be successful. So find ways to enjoy your new job, your new profession. I did remember, though, my first paycheck. And it was a little bit. It wasn't anything. And I know it wasn't anything because I had all these dreams for what I'm going to do when I get it and what I'm going to buy. And when I went downtown and I went to the supermarket, I think it was blown in the first week. First mistake. But I allowed myself that one little indiscretion. But also, I think you now have to really start organizing your life. It helps you too with getting through the day at the internship. Learn how to get things put in place properly. Learn the discipline of being tidy, being discreet, being organized, and you'll see that things will fall into place. You shouldn't come in here not knowing who your patients are. You shouldn't come into the hospital not knowing what their results are, what it really means for them, how they look. If you have all of those things, Dr. Connell will never catch you off guard. And, you can't? He'll never catch you off guard. And don't let him. Really play a game with him where he would not catch you off guard, where you're always one step ahead of him. And you'll see it will be not so hard to do. So welcome, young graduates. Thank you very much for being here. We look forward to working with you and seeing great careers start at this level. And good luck in your future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris, for those remarks. And you reminded me that, well, my internship was 18 months. And let me just say, I thoroughly enjoyed my internship. Most people thought that internship was the worst period of their career. I enjoyed all of the rotations. At one point, I wanted to be an internist, surgeon, obstetrician, gynecologist, never pediatrician, emergency medicine, just joking. But the one day that I remember in my internship that I did not enjoy was actually Kadooment Day. And I had already purchased my costume. Yes, they had costumes back then. They had a lot more material as well. And I was set. And then the on-call rota in the Department of Child Health came out. And I was on call Kadooment Day. So I figured some reasoning had to occur, so I spoke to my registrar, who is now consultant and head of the Child Health Department, Angela Jennings, and I said to her, we seem to have a problem here because I already have my costume purchased and we're on call Kadooment Day. Well, that didn't work out well, but it ended up with me getting an hour off to wear my costume in the doctor's lounge and watch my section of the band cross the stage before doing a lumbar puncture on a child coming in with fever of unknown origin. So it was it was a great crop over, but it did solidify in my mind how your social plans can be completely destroyed and ruined because of internship, but how absolutely satisfying being in hospital and being involved in the care of patients can be. Because yes, I would have had a good time. I probably would have had too much alcohol, which I shouldn't have. But being in hospital, I was here, I was able to truly sacrifice, and I was able to make a difference, hopefully, in that young man's life who is probably somewhere off. He looked like a very bright child at 4 months. He's probably in medical school somewhere. So be careful what you do in internship. So often people come up to me after say, I remember you from intern. You were the guy with the coffee mug always walking quickly around the hospital. So I'm going to invite, before I don't receive this month's paycheck, the principal of the Cave Hill campus, Professor R. Clive Landis, Principal and Pro Vice Chancellor, to address the audience.
Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda, Sir Rodney Williams, Professor Winston Moore, Deputy Principal of the Cave Hill campus, Dr. Damien Cohall, Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, Mr. Anthony Harris, Director of Medical Services, Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Tony, I want to give you full respect. You know, it is the protocol. And it says here, Mr. I'm pretty sure that when you open someone's chest and do heart surgery, you're a doctor, aren't you? But did you give it back, or? I know there's this strange tradition. Switzerland? Maybe I'll call you Mr. Doctor, just to be on the safe side. Dr. Michael Campbell, Deputy Dean of Research and Graduate Studies, Faculty of Medical Sciences. Dr. Michelle Lashley, Head, Department of Clinical Sciences. Dr. Clyde Cave, Internship Coordinator. Ms. Akila Thomas, President, Medical Students Association. Fellow panelists, graduates of the MBBS program, Faculty of Medical Sciences. I think I'll lump all of the other university community together, but particularly the family and friends of the graduates who are either here or online, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure it is for me to be here on this joyous occasion to bring remarks to this oath-taking ceremony. These are the types of occasions that make the job of being a university administrator worthwhile. To see the students looking so accomplished and happy, celebrating their achievements in the presence, either physically or virtually, of family and friends. But my satisfaction and my contribution towards the achievement of our students taking part in this ceremony pales into insignificance compared to the sacrifices that each of you in this room has made, either as the student who toiled long and hard, or as their supporter who walked every step of the way to make this journey possible. So, as you stand, as the panelist had said, on the precipice, but as you finish one part of your education with the University of the West Indies and you're about to embark on another in your clinical career, it is reasonable for you to ask, after all the hard work and the sacrifice, what is the value of the medical education and the degree our graduates earn with the University of the West Indies? What is the value of the medical education and the degree our graduates earn with the University of the West Indies? The first and most important aspect of this question concerns the quality and the integrity of the UE degree. It is over 35 years ago that the Quality Assurance Unit was formed, And it is through the commitment and dedication of the staff and the many quality organs of the University of the West Indies that UWI has been able to assiduously build an effective quality management system. But let me be clear. Despite all this effort and the dedication of the staff and the quality systems in place, it is still not enough for me to stand here as an officer of this institution simply to exhort the value of the UWI degree. I might, after all, be biased. To answer the question, what is the value of the UWI degree, you have to open your institution to external scrutiny by independent arbiters of quality. This is the work of the accrediting agencies and the university ranking agencies. And there's something wonderfully detached about the international inspection teams that visit our local campuses and our programs and put us through the virtual ringer. They really don't care about any of our difficulties or challenges we might be facing in our environment. They just say it like it is, and it's up to you as an institution to achieve the required standard. Let us start with the institutional accreditation of the Cave Hill campus, the whole campus. The UWI Cave Hill campus was reaccredited by the Barbados Accreditation Council in 2019, receiving the maximum permitted 7-year period of accreditation. And please don't think that accreditation is a parochial exercise. The inspection team included some of the most experienced and demanding educators drawn from the UK, Canada, and the USA, who assessed the institution against international quality benchmarks adopted by the Barbados Accreditation Council. The head of that inspection team was actually the head of the whole of Quality UK, of all universities in the UK. So, this is not an easy task. In granting the maximum accreditation to the Cave Hill campus, the assessors gave special praise to the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, which supports the requirement for any new lecturer to earn a postgraduate certificate in undergraduate teaching and learning. So all lecturers are fully qualified in teaching and learning. I wish to quote from the official mid-cycle accreditation report that happened in 2022, as it relates to the way that the Cave Hill campus's quality assurance processes had to adapt during the COVID-19 pandemic. Quote, overall, the maintenance of quality assurance reviews and curriculum renewal during the pandemic has been exemplary. Many higher education institutions simply put these processes on hold. The campus ensured that through these processes, the quality and relevance of programs have been maintained, with no backlog of reviews or curricular revisions, unquote. The institutional accreditation conferred upon the university means that the UWI degree that you hold is recognized by other accredited universities, allowing students, for example, to transfer credits with other recognized universities. Next comes programmatic accreditation, which is by your professional medical body, the Caribbean Accreditation Agency for Medical and Health Professionals, CAMHP, the only body in law permitted to accredit an MBBS medical degree program in Barbados. The visiting CAMHP team, again under external leadership, comprising internationally renowned medical practitioners and researchers drawn from the UK, Canada, USA, and the Caribbean, issued their report earlier this year. Out of 117 quality standards, the UWI achieved a 97% compliance rate, thereby earning extension of accreditation to the maximum permissible period of 5 years. At this point, I would really like to highlight the role played by your predecessor, Dean Cohall, Professor Peter Adams, Dean of the Medical School, who led the preparation for the CAMHP accreditation inspection and ensured its eventual successful outcome. Professor Adams is in fact retiring tomorrow. He doesn't look like he's ready to retire, but apparently he is. And I am sure we can recognize his tremendous contribution to medical practice and research, not only in his field of family medicine, but to the development of medical education in Barbados and the wider Caribbean. When you receive your degree scroll at graduation, it does not mention the word Cave Hill. The degree granting authority is the University of the West Indies. So how has our venerable regional university stacked up against the mighty universities around the globe? The UWI history is well known to most. UWI has grown from humble origins with a founding class of just 33 medical students in Jamaica in 1948 as the Medical College of the West Indies, which was an offshoot of University College London. By 1963, the University of the West Indies had achieved full independence as a degree-granting university, also marking the year that the Cave Hill campus was founded. The UWI has since grown into this wonderful regional university, quite unique in the world for having campuses in sovereign independent countries, which we know today. By the time of its 75th anniversary last year, the UWI had accrued the following accolades from the leading global university ranking agency, Times Higher Education, across these categories. The #1 university in the Caribbean, among the top 5% of universities in the world, and among the top 100 Golden Age universities in the world, which is between 50 to 80 years. Higher education estimates that there are around 35,000 universities in the world. There is some uncertainty about this number, since many universities seem to spring up almost overnight and then disappear again without a trace. But that is not the case with the UWI. In fact, at the heart of the UWI is the Grand Aunt's Declaration, promulgated on July 31st, 1989, at the 10th CARICOM Heads of Government Conference in Grenada, which has enshrined that the University of the West Indies would, quote, remain a regional institution in perpetuity, unquote. And it is, in significant measure, the consistent support from governments across the region, from one administration to the next, that has allowed this public university to flourish. And for that, we're very grateful. The UWI's part in the covenant is to dedicate ourselves at all times to the educational and development needs of the Caribbean. In ending my remarks, I therefore return to the question, what is the value of the medical education and the degree that you, our graduates, have earned this morning? You have heard that the UWI has spent decades laying a sound quality management system, and you have heard that the UWI has subjected itself at every level to external accrediting and ranking agencies. And you have heard that a covenant exists in perpetuity between the UWI and the governments and the people of the Caribbean. So it is therefore with confidence that I am able to stand before you this morning to assure you of the value and the integrity of the UWI degree that has met the highest international standards and is recognized internationally. And in case you were wondering, who deserves the credit for this great Caribbean institution? Previous Vice-Chancellor Rex Nettleford had the answer. He said, "The University of the West Indies is the greatest gift of the Caribbean people to themselves." This is your university.
Thank you, Principal Landis. And I guess we now come to the central part of the program. But before that, several shout-outs that, including some people repeating the shout-out for emphasis. Congratulations to Dr. Marcus Smith, Dr. Mika Eastman, and Claudette Blackman. Thank you to the staff of the Faculty of Medicine. Your expertise and professionalism have contributed to the success of my daughter, Dr. Kimberly Waterman, whom I am extremely proud of. Kimberly, are you? Congratulations to Dr. Eastman again. Someone just has Ziana, exclamation, exclamation. Congratulations to the entire class of 2024. Dr. Beckles in all caps, exclamation. And this one I have to read because she sent me on WhatsApp as well. Congratulations to all the graduates of the class of 2024, wishing them all the best upon this new chapter in their lives. And my daughter, Dr. Johnson. So my insurance is in good hands. I did the shout out. Okay, so we're now going to have the Hippocratic Oath, which will be led by Dr. Michelle Lashley. As is part of the tradition, members of the fraternity are encouraged or invited to take part in the oath taken to renew your own oaths. Dr. Lashley?
Good morning, all. And you noticed that I wasn't invited to make any remarks, but I'm going to take credence for coming to the podium and saying just a couple words. As you have already heard, the Hippocratic Oath is traditionally administered to these young physicians entering the profession. These are you. Congratulations to you all as we stand to say this in a few minutes. It is the oldest document in history. And as Dr. Connell mentioned, this goes all the way back to 477 BC in Hippocratic time, although it's now thought that the Hippocratic Oath goes even far further back than that to the Romans. However, as you listen to the words, and particularly those who are not in the profession, you may wonder what they really mean. And there were just a couple things that I just wanted to mention to you all and to those in our online audience. This is a code of conduct. It is a promise that you, as the young physicians, are making to your patients and society. And in this code of conduct, even though it may seem a little outdated, and it may still need to be modernized a little bit more in the realities of what we have to deal with day to day, what you are doing is you're promising competence, you're promising integrity, you're promising candor, personal commitment to patients, compassion, discretion, and confidentiality, as you heard, within the law. So even though the words may seem a little bit outdated, as you go through the oath, and I'm going to ask the class now to stand together. So as we read the oath, and perhaps the others in the profession may want to join in if needed, we will do this paragraph by paragraph and repeat it or say it with me if you wish. So, as we pledge, I gratefully acknowledge the distinction to be conferred upon me, and I solemnly promise that as a graduate of medicine, I will be loyal to the ethics of my profession and endeavor always to promote the welfare and maintain the reputation of the University of the West Indies. Further, in the exercise of my profession, I will ever have in mind the care of the sick and the well-being of the healthy. To these ends, I will use all my knowledge and judgment. I will keep silent on any matter which I may see or hear in the course of my professional work and which it would be improper to divulge. I will not permit considerations of religion, nationality, race, party politics, or social standing to influence my duty to my patients. Congratulations, graduates, and please hold this there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lashling. You may be seated. Okay, so we are now on to the prizes in the MBBS final examination. I will just, for the purpose of the audience, both online and here, just briefly describe the examination process. There is no PowerPoint. So at the completion of the 5 years in the MBBS program, successful completion of rotations, students take a final exam. This exam is largely of two components, a written paper and a clinical exam. The unified exam was hosted this year for the first time at the UWI. The written paper actually consists of 4 papers, and students are expected to pass this at 50% and above. The clinical exam comprised this year of a very long 17-station exam, well done, comprising several disciplines, including internal medicine, child health, psychiatry, surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, and ethics, and family medicine. The top performers are now going to be awarded based on the aggregate scores for the OSCE exam, and finally the aggregate score for the OSCE plus the written paper. And so the best performance in the OSCE exam, in the unified OSCE exam, the inaugural exam, will be presented by the medical laboratory technologist. Mr. Callender will present the awards. And it's a shared award because it was impossible for me to decipher how to untie these two outstanding young doctors who I've seen develop over the years. They are Dr. Kevin Herwood, Congratulations, Dr. Herwood. I saw you during the exam and you look a lot calmer now. And Dr. Kevon Hewitt. The best overall performance in the exam, which comprises the written and clinical exam, will be delivered by the Medical Laboratory Technologists Department of Preclinical and Health Sciences. Did I get that right? Because that's my department. Okay. Mrs. Kiana Hall. And the winner of that is Dr. Kevon Hewitt again. As the principal and dean mentioned, there are several quality assurance mechanisms in the university structure. One such is our external examiners and university examiner reports. And so I was quite pleased as exam chair to see some of the comments made by these individuals on the performance of our students who were tested under, I know, very challenging conditions. It's not easy examining a patient with 3 people looking at you, looking for everything that you're doing, and especially since it's such a high-stake exam. So congratulations to you. And I'm sure at 2 and 3 in the morning, when there are several family members looking at you, this will be good practice for that. Congratulations. So now I'm going to sound like the university registrar. But ladies and gentlemen, this brings to an end this ceremony for oath-taking for the University of the West Indies Faculty of Medical Sciences, class of 2024. First, let me give the vote of thanks for those of you who are in the audience and who have participated in our program. Let me first thank the Governor General of Antigua and Barbuda, Sir Rodney Williams, for joining us and for sharing with the fraternity. I know this meant a lot to you. Thank you also to the remarks that were given by Mr. Anthony Harris. I'm never going to make that mistake. Mr. Anthony Harris, the Principal, Pro Vice Chancellor, and Principal, Professor Clive Landis, as well as our Dean, Dr. Damian Cohall. Thank you for your encouraging words to the graduates. The featured speaker at next year's event, the person who led the oath, Dr. Michelle Lashley, the head of the Department of Clinical Sciences, where I camp out at quite a lot. Thank you for leading for leading us, the graduates and the rest of the fraternity, in saying the oath. And I know that many of you have already been texting saying you said it online. I trust you. An event like this takes so many stakeholders to get it right. So let me just start by thanking the Office of the Dean and everyone in that office who assisted in planning this event. Mrs. Janelle Mondizer, as well as Ms. Pamela Weeks. Thank you also to the other administrative and technical staff in the Faculty of Medical Sciences in the Department of Clinical Sciences, including Mr. Alan Barrow, and also, I've just had a senior moment. and also Miss Esther Harrison, Mr. Deshaun Earl Bess. I know I'm leaving out people. Brian, thank you so much for all of your assistance. We could not have done this without you. Thanks also to the MLTs. Now, many of you don't know the MLTs played a significant role today because they handed over I don't know what's in the envelope. I assume it's a lot of money. But they're actually set up for clinical exams, which is quite a task. So I want you students, well, sorry, my apologies, you doctors, to thank the MLTs for the extremely hard work in preparing this unified exam. This takes a lot of work, and I know that members of the MSA, including the president, who could not be here today, but thank you to the MSA. The MSA has been incredible over the last year, and you really do make us look like we never had an MSA before when I was a student. But congratulations to you, and thank you for all this backdrop here. It was all done by them last night and this morning. All right, so I also want to thank our sponsors, and I have to make sure I get this right. So MedSafe, where you can get all of your, this is being streamed, I know, where you can get all of your medical supplies right across the street to the Clinical Skills Building in the River Road branch. Just look for the big, is it green or blue? Green building. No, they're never going to sponsor this again. Green building, and they have some of their displays here, including a few blood pressure monitors. Great. Thank you. Refreshments, right. So the Dean is reminding me of refreshments, but thank you also for those who arranged the catering, because I know we had a lot of special requests from our students. We honored none of that. But thank you for those who provided the catering. And special thanks to you, the online audience, for joining us, the parents, the friends, the well-wishers. The new doctors would like me to join with them in giving you a round of applause for your support. And I have been advised by Mr. Elcock, don't forget the group picture. Now, those of you who know Brian, you know, the faster you get into position, the longer you can, the more you can prolong the agony of having this picture done and get to refreshments. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here in the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Support the hospital in its 60th anniversary and look out for them on their Pulse radio show. I'm putting a plug in for everyone. Every Monday at 1 p.m. on QFM. Thank you and travel safely.